Ta-da! Levels.
Levels.
Wow, it is windy here tonight.
I thought you said that you had great weather the last couple of days.
Oh, we did. 3 days of highs in the 60s. I played golf on Sunday. It's been gorgeous.
And I think you also told me at the end of this week, you're also going to have some really nice weather.
Yep. Thursday through the weekend, highs in the 60s again. But right now, it is 26 degrees, headed to a wind chill of -6 overnight. Tomorrow is going to be amazingly cold.
Huh. I mean, that's really weird. I mean, what could possibly cause that kind of... Oh, never mind.
What, did you figure it out?
Well, super nice weather all week except Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Aren't you reffing the state basketball tournament Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday night. What are you implying?
Me? Oh, nothing. I'm just here making some observations.
Oh, come on, go ahead, say it. I know you're dying to. Come on.
Dewayne finally hits the court at the state tourney and hell freezes over.
I mean, I don't want to get into technical corner here, but technically, it's the well. Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, a weekly podcast with Dwayne Johnson and Todd Prinz, where failure and texts from my wife during the podcast are always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Better than Amy. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yes, I'm not stuck in a tunnel in Chicago right now.
So, real-time updates. Amy is flying home today from...
Maybe.
Well, yeah. Amy is scheduled. How about that? Amy is scheduled to fly home today from Naples, Florida to Chicago, and then from Chicago into Des Moines. And we're recording, and then I'm headed to the airport to pick her up. Again, purportedly. There is weather moving through Chicago right now, specifically right over O'Hare, and they have sent all passengers in the terminal to the tunnel between Terminal B and Terminal C. And she's sending us pictures, both you and I, together. People are starting to get, I don't know, I can't tell. Is it sardines? She says they're starting to smell ripe. Oh, those are people, not sardines. But
I'm sure a whole bunch of people just shoved into underground tunnels in Chicago while the storm passes overhead. I'm sure everything will be fine. Yeah.
We first suggested that perhaps they needed to go take shelter in the bathrooms, but then that might be a bad idea because the bathrooms may smell really bad. And now she's in the tunnels, which apparently are starting to smell really bad. So, yeah.
Running out of places in O'Hare that don't smell bad. It's a short list of places that smell good.
Okay, well, we will continue to give real-time updates as Amy provides them throughout the recording of the podcast. Woof. Amy did have an option. Well, I suppose she did have an option, technically. She also had the opportunity to listen to last week's pod while she was traveling today and sent me a little bit of feedback.
Yes.
Check your math on the Boeing discussion. 6 plants and 24 inspectors would be 2 per plant. No.
Check your reading now.
Check my reading.
Okay, check your check your reading.
That would be 4 per plant per Amy.
There you go.
I'm like, I couldn't get it right last week. Still can't get it right this week.
But you're riding it out. You know what?
Have...
No, you know what? It's a ride or die with that number, with that 2 per plan.
and that was all I got. Amy had something else, or Lisa had something else.
Yeah, well, we were listening. She was playing along. By the way, she did have a correction because you called Dwayne Guess the Number America's favorite game. And as we all know, it's now America's second favorite game behind Money or Nazis.
Yes.
So we need to make sure we get that corrected. She guessed a number and she got the average across all of both the if you took the Boeing plants and the Spirit plants and the whatever, she just threw out one number and then like, oh, you need both. But she got the right number on the average across both of the, just throwing that out.
Oh.
I was like, wow.
Bell for Lisa.
Yes. And we should do more games where we have a chance to get the number right. So noted.
Okay. It's not looking good for this week, but we'll see what we can do. Let's see. From Danny. Please preface your next maggot story with a warning for people on their way to a lunch meeting. He needed a spoiler warning. That's what he needed.
By the way, I know Danny's got something else here. Real quick, sorry. That reminded me, the other bit of follow-up I forgot to put in here was when you gave me the 3 options.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Did we pick the right one?
Well, so we're in the car. You start naming the 3. You say the plane, somebody didn't check a bag or something. And then she's like, oh, do that one. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then we did the other 2. And then I explained on air, okay, that's one I would do, but I should do, my instincts are terrible. So then I should do something else. But I actually think that Lisa would want this one. And so we'll do this one. She's like, yes. And then you said Flight Out of Amsterdam. She goes, this isn't the maggot story, is it? And I said, it is. And she's like, that's not the one I wanted. Then we got done. And then she said, it is scary to hear the way that you think, because I vocalized what was going through my head. And that was insight that she didn't necessarily need nor need again. So anyway, I did good. You did bad, because as soon as she realized she won, she realized we all lost.
I told you didn't want to hear this story. This was not the one to pick, and yet you picked it, and there we stood, stuck. Thank you.
With the story just falling out of the overhead bin all over us.
All over us. Ugh.
Sorry, Danny, if you're eating dinner now. Sorry, I interrupted Danny's feedback. He had something else.
Sweet Lord. He went back to episode 2. He's got some travel coming up. And so now he has gone back to episode 2. This is now almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We apparently had some pretty hot takes on Tom Brady going to Tampa.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they were.
I have no idea what they were, but apparently they were pretty good, because what did Danny say?
They were snort-worthy. He was, I'm literally snorting laughing so hard right now. They were, yes, we would classify those takes as snort-worthy. Sweet Lord.
My thought was when he said, I've got some time, I'm traveling, so I'm going back to starting with the second one. My thought was, where are you going? The moon? That's a lot of travel to get caught up, but yeah.
Update from Amy. Now people are just making loops on the moving walkways.
Well, okay, 2 things. One, that those are people that need to close their rings on their watch. So you just got to keep doing the loops. So but also that is perfectly fine, because all of the airplanes they need to get on are doing loops in the sky over Lake Michigan waiting to land. So they're looping, the planes are everybody's looping.
Well, it's better than just leaving them empty, because you can fit a ton of people on those moving walkways, and you need all that space when you're cramming people in between B and C. Let's see. From Doug at the Idiot Toddlers. Correlation certainly equals causation, with the technical corner leading to your state officiating honors. Congratulations. I think it's great that they offered to let you wear that comfortable outfit all day. only to be plucked out of a comfy seat and immediately have to run up and down the floor. I'm sure that will work out just fine. So thanks there. I got a couple of nice comments from listeners congratulating me on making the state tournament. So,
what as well you should.
Thanks.
Doug does point out, though, that this is high injury potential, that you could go from just being on the bench to, at a moment's notice, being sprinting up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a suggestion? Because I think this would even be funnier. I need you to have, while sitting on the bench, where you can be called in at any given point, I need you to have in your hand a churro all day, like you're just like a half-eaten churro, so that in case somebody looks over and goes, "We need you," and you're like, huh,
be there in a minute.
Yeah, you gotta wait. You gotta get home.
Hold on, hold on. I gotta stretch.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. Check me on this.
Yes.
I think that I am not the first person from our graduating class to sit on the bench at the state basketball tournament, because I believe his freshman year, the 6'6" sophomore sensation got called up and went to the state tournament as a freshman and sat on the bench.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
I see. When you said that, what I thought was, okay, technically Greg was one spot in front of you, and it was Greg, and then you, and then Chad. If you want to consider that the first spot, sure. Hey, I'm first chair.
No,
not exactly.
We were the Alpine team. Alpine. Yes, we're the Alpine team. Yes, we were. Oh, TSA headed up the stairs. That's a good sign, says Amy. They've released the TSA.
They're just evacuating. They're just leaving. They're like, what's coming this way? Got to go.
Oh, I'm out of here. They don't pay me enough for this shit. Let's see. Oh, Yvonne and Wrigley and Don.
Yes. Talked to Vaughn and Don on Saturday. So that's Toddler 1059, Wrigley 1060, and Don 2016. Because they were nice enough to babysit Preston for all day. So Preston got to hang out with Wrigley for the day. And Yvonne had listened to last week when I said, there was a story she told me, but I can't remember. And she reminded me what it was. So I even wrote it down in front of her, because I'm like, I have to write it down now, or this won't help. Her and Wrigley were out walking, and she was walking to Todd, and she was listening to the podcast, and they were out on a trail, and the theme song was playing. So the theme song was playing in her ears, and Wrigley's out having fun, and another person was walking the opposite way. And as the theme song was playing, the person looks at Wrigley and says, "Oh, he's a happy boy." And for a minute, Yvonne's like, "How did you know that this was, like, how loud is my music? How did you know that this was Happy Boy?" It threw her for a loop until she realized that it was Wrigley. No, yes, it is Happy Boy, as a matter of fact, by Kevin MacLeod, available in Compotech. Anyway, so it kind of it messed with her a little bit.
That's nice. And last but not least, from toddler number 6, David Batchelder. If Money or Nazis isn't a Vice documentary and card game by the end of the year, you and Todd need to hire a new marketing person. Okay.
Real-time follow-up. We can probably rule out Vice documentary since
yes.
that business just died.
Yes.
However, card game, I now regret sharing this until we got it copyrighted.
Hold on. Click, 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 click. Ah, crap. It's not of it. Oh, you got it. Okay, good. Okay. You beat me to it. Fantastic.
We may need to talk to some marketing people. Do you know any?
I know a couple of game design people.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, I might know a marketing person or two. A couple of them might even listen.
Not anymore after you just did that.
Yet.
Okay.
Come on, Flinnies. Do your thing. Let's see.
Hey, do you guys want to take on the Nazi account? No? Okay.
Wait.
I mean, sorry, money or Nazi? No, where are you going? All right. Any corrections?
Actually,
Yeah, we did. We had one. Did you happen to see the show art from last week?
Oh, I don't think I did.
Here, So when it showed up.
Oh, yes, I did. Okay, sorry. You know what? I did because Lisa said, "What's this?"
Well, when you forget that the show art is a square, and you design the show art in landscape form, you get Ulken to Todd.
Yes, you do. Yep. Uh-huh. I blame Jeremy for that. That's something that he would have made it much, much worse. So Ulken to Todd is fine compared to what he would have done.
Yep.
Great. Now we can't go back to Argentina either.
Jeremy gets involved. Everything goes to hell in a handbasket.
Real quick. You know what? The fact that the State Department wasn't involved is probably, we'll just consider it a success.
Pretty much on brand.
Follow-up. We have lots of follow-up.
We do. We probably ought to get moving. Did you see... Okay, so I'm watching... Did you see the movie The Hitman's Bodyguard?
No.
Ryan Reynolds, Salma Hayek, Samuel L. Jackson. At one point, there is a car chase through Amsterdam.
Okay.
And the reason this is follow-up, so I watched this movie in the last week while Amy's been gone. The reason this is under follow-up is because the car chase in Amsterdam, every time they went around a corner, they hit a line of bicycles, and the bicycles go tumbling into the canals. And now
that's how they get in there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You remember how you brought me this Dwayne guess a number question about how many bicycles end up in the canal? Apparently
20,000 a year.
Right. Yeah. Apparently that survey was taken right after they filmed this movie in the car chase in Amsterdam.
That makes perfect sense. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wow, that's more bikes in the canal. Oh, more bikes in the canal. Okay.
Here's the thing though. You said Ryan Reynolds is in that movie. I'm gonna say what we know about Ryan Reynolds, at least what he portrays, is if he would have knocked an entire thing of bikes into the canal after the take, he would have, I'm so sorry. You know what? Let me go get him for you. Let me go. You know what? Rob McElhaney would have come out of a bar going, I guess I can help. And they would have they would have lifted it out and cleaned them all up and then given them to orphans.
He is the nicest guy.
With here's a free mint phone and a little bit of aviator gin. But it's okay because it's Europe, so you can have that.
The other piece of follow-up that I had, I activated the Talking to Todd NCAA men's basketball pool for March Madness, which I know it's not March. We've got several weeks before basketball starts, but start thinking about making sure that you're in or not.
And done. I've got all my picks in.
Wow.
Here's the thing. Do we know who's in the tournament? No. Do we know who's seeded? No. Do we know where anybody's going to be? No. Does any of that change the likelihood of me winning this thing? No. So I might as well just pick random teams right now, because realistically, if we've seen where this has gone, I might as well get it over with early.
We do need to figure out what criteria that we are using for the official Talking to Todd bracket, because the show does a bracket. One year we did mascot wars.
Yes. Which I disagree with, and I'm still protesting, but whatever.
Boilermaker is a train, damn it.
It's not. It makes boilers, but sure, that's fine. Let it go. You know, whatever.
How about you?
Let's see. We've talked about in the past hey, you know all that digital content that you buy and own that then suddenly disappears? Yeah, so Funimation digital libraries were supposed to last forever. However, Funimation has been Funimation was owned by Sony. There we go. Sony bought rival anime streaming service Crunchyroll in 2021. They're going to merge them. And this week, they were like, I wonder how they're going to merge those. Yep, they're just going to close the Funimation accounts. They will all become Crunchyroll. And this is all stupid. If you had Funimation stuff, if you bought DVDs, you could redeem a code that would give you the digital copy of it.
Yeah.
But apparently, Crunchyroll doesn't support that. So anything that you had that was given to you through a digital code, poof, gone. As if it never existed. So hopefully you kept the DVD when you entered the digital code and didn't throw it away because you no longer own that. So this is all going well. It's going great. Everything's fine.
You know, I've got a tub of DVDs in my basement that I was thinking of taking to the half price bookstore to get, I don't know, 25 cents a piece for, or whatever pittance they pay you for now. I'm not sure that I'm going to do that. I may just hold on to all of my DVDs. They're not going anywhere. I may not be able to buy a DVD player in 10 years.
This could be Todd's Tech Corner. If you want, you can rip all of those, buy a really big hard drive, and then you can watch them even if you don't have a DVD player. But, anyway.
Legally?
Gray area? Technically.
How gray?
This one's not bad, and if you don't throw away the discs, it's probably defensible, which is you are allowed to have an archive copy of copyrighted media. Oh. So if you made an archive copy of it and ripped it and then still had the DVD, technically you could show that you had ownership and that the rip was simply an archive of it, not a copy for resale that you were gaining benefit for. So if you kept the physical media, have that, and somebody came after you, you probably, if you could get a decent lawyer, you would probably be fine.
Just to be safe, I'm going to start introducing a new segment every week. This week in Dwayne's DVD collection, we're going to evaluate Butch Cassidy and the Sundance. Never mind. Okay.
Hey, I just bought that on video. I own it now. I bought it through iTunes, so I own it. Oh, crap.
Crap.
Do I? Oh, can I borrow the DVD?
Yeah, I'll load it. I'll load it to you. Somebody say 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, did you see the helmet comms thing was back in the news?
No, I did not.
Yes. So they allowed some testing of helmet communications in college football. We covered this before about how high school has technology and the pros have technology, but colleges don't have technology. So they allowed some testing of it during the bowl season, and it looks like they are going to allow on a conference by conference basis the conference to decide if the schools in the conference want to adopt this technology for their games. The ACC has already said, buckle up, here we go.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm kind of shocked that any of those conferences would want to spend any money on this because that could all go to the coach and the AD, but whatever. Interestingly enough, I also have a follow-up on helmet comms in a completely different way.
Okay.
I was out for a long training run on Sunday and out on the trail, and there were tons of people out on their bikes. It was a gorgeous day, tons and tons of people. I would say 95% of the people were on e-bikes, and there's a few people who, here's my general rule. Here's what I noticed. If you're wearing a cycling jersey, you're probably not on an e-bike. That was my observation over about 2 hours, including there was somebody with a Ragbri jersey, not the one that we have, a previous year, but And I was going to go, hey, Ragbri, but I'm running so slow and they're moving so fast that by the time I saw Ragbri, they were out of view. Anyway, helmet comms. There were a number of people on, and I think we even may have talked about this. So on their e-bikes, they have their bike helmets. And then I looked and now they have boom mics and they now have helmet to helmet communication on their e-bikes. So as the bikes spread out, they can still talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the heck? Anyway. Yeah.
For the low price of $170 per helmet.
My assumption, I'm just going to guess, my assumption is, I bet when you rent this e-bike, you probably get to rent a helmet, and the one with the radio is probably an extra $5 or $10 than the $5 or $10 for the helmet, because most of these look like rentals, as did the people. Well, let's just say a number of the people who had those also look like this was the first time they've been on a bike ever. We need to make this trail wider, people. We got to give them a lot more room. If they were driving a car like that, they would have been pulled over for DUI for that much swerving. Anyway, but at least they can go, hey, I can talk to you now. So
were any of them drinking an old fashioned while they were riding or smoking a cigar? No cigar. Old fashioned. You never know what's in the water bottle. Okay. It's fair. Did you see the latest news on, my God, follow-ups lasting forever. Did you see the latest news on Oakland, Vegas, Sacramento, Vegas, Oakland days?
No, I did not.
Even if they do figure out how to actually try to move forward with the stadium that is going to be built on the site where I want to say the Rio was?
Tropicana.
Thank you. Where the Tropicana was, they are going to get sued by the Students Over Stadiums nonprofit, who doesn't like taxpayer dollars not being spent to improve the schools. So people are starting to line up against this anyway.
Yeah, the state teachers union has also threatened to file suit over this. So it's going well. By the way, you missed one town in there. One of the other places that may be on the radar for them to play for between 1 and 70 years while waiting for this to happen is Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah.
And hey, do they have a Major League ballpark? Nope. They would also be in a AAA ballpark there. But in January, people were so excited to try to lure them there that they took out billboards to convince the A's to come to Salt Lake City. One small problem. They put up the billboards in Salt Lake City. So the billboard was saying, come to Salt Lake City for people who are already in Salt Lake City. The people that own the A's who are in Oakland didn't see the billboards. So you needed to put the billboards in Oakland. Yeah. Anyway, you know what? We should hire them as our marketing people for this card game. Okay.
Real-time updates from Amy. So they shut off the escalator and people were sitting on it. And then people started climbing up it. And then there's too many people on the escalator to be able to turn it back on. Okay, people, clear out. No, never mind. Oh. Real-time follow-up. Back at my gate, 9:45 departure. Resume your regular programming. Thank you, Amy. Okay, fantastic. Can you confirm?
Well, I'm just looking. I'm trying to count how many planes are now lined up at O'Hare, getting ready to take off. I'm losing count.
Carry the 5.
Yeah, there is no one. Well, there's 26, right? And that's one of 3 runways. So anyway, yeah, it's all fine.
It'll be fine.
Good news. Good news. The affiliates just told us we could go long.
We can. Let's see.
By the way, there was one other piece of follow-up. Did you Did you want to cover that, or because we're now in hour 6 of follow-up, did you want to move on?
I was just going to move on.
Yep, that's fine.
Because, yeah, I see what you were doing.
Me? No. Nope. Ooh.
It's not fair to deny me all the cross I bear. I checked it to me. You ought to know.
That's right.
Are we sure? Are we sure that's the right one?
Yes, because this week we're playing America's third favorite game, Todd Ought to Know.
Yeah, okay.
I titled this Shirts or Skins. I don't know why. Did you follow the latest edition of The Match that happened earlier this week?
Absolutely not.
Okay, fantastic. This is going to be great. So The Match 2024, do you know who the 4 players were? This is golf, for the record.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I believe this is the amount of information I know about this. I believe at least one woman was one of the players. That is all the information I have.
There were 2 women.
Okay.
Lexi Thompson and Rose Zhang.
Okay. Good players.
Right. Very good players. Plus, my favorite golfer, Max Homa, and Rory McIlroy. So those were the 4.
Okay.
They played a skins game. Do you know what a skins game is?
You know what? I do, but let's make sure that you explain it for our audience.
Okay.
I mean, because I totally am aware of what this is, but not everybody knows. So why don't you explain it?
Okay, so it's a hole by hole game. There's a certain amount of money on every hole, and if you win the hole outright, you win, let's say $5. It's more than that for this, but let's say you're playing with my group. If you win the skin, it's worth $1, right? Or if nobody wins the hole outright, if 2 people par and everybody else gets bogeys, the skin carries over to the next one. So the next hole's worth 2, right? And if 2 people birdie, then those $2 carry over to the next one, and it's worth 3, right? Okay, so that's how a skins game works.
All right.
They were only playing 12 holes. Todd,
right, because of the light. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Todd, how many skins were won and by who?
Okay, just to put us out of our misery, I'm going to say 2 skins were won, and Rose and Lexi each won 1.
Do you know how I feel when you ask me Premier League shit? Fantastic. Yes, that's where we are. That's where we are right now. You don't get anything. Lexi did win 2 skins.
Okay, that's what I said.
I'm gonna have to check the tape. Throw the red challenge flag.
Do not send this to VAR. We do not have 7 minutes to kill.
No. Amy's stuck in O'Hare. We're good.
Is this a correctable error? No, I don't. Yeah. Anyway,
Rose got 0.
All right.
Max got 0. Rory got 10. Rory won 10 skins. Lexi won 2. And all of the money went to charity. He won $300,000 and all of it got donated to charity. So
I'm shocked. So just let me ask you this, because I was thinking when I said, if nobody wins the first hole and it moves to the second hole and you win the second hole, how many skins have you won for the second hole?
2.
Okay. That was a bit of knowledge that I didn't understand. And therefore my guess of 2 was wrong. I see that now. The answer needed to be 12 because even if you tied in total, there were
still 12 skins to be won. Yes.
I see. There were some facts that I was unclear on that made this test harder than it needed to be. Okay.
This is an educational podcast. Sometimes for the hosts. Most times for the hosts.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've never had to worry about the rules of a skins game. Even if I played in one, I didn't have to worry about, how do I win this whole? Never mind.
Just hand the money over and move on to the next thing.
Yeah. There you go. Just, you know what? At the start of every hole, I just hand them the money and 6 golf balls. And then I just walk to the next hole and then just hand them the money and 6 more golf balls and then just move on. We'll speed this up.
Well, that went so well. Should we play America's actual favorite game?
Yes, we should.
I went looking for a German marching song, but I thought that might not go over well. Yes.
Yeah. On the other hand, I have an idea.
Okay.
We'll take a business meeting offline.
We'll workshop this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We need a theme, people. Anyway, it's time for Money or Nazis. Did you bring something this week, or do you want to do the thing that I wrote down?
Sorry, I just realized we have content for following week. I did not bring anything this week, but maybe for next. Okay.
Did you watch John Oliver 2 weeks ago?
I did. Yes.
Okay. So I
believe that was an expose on a deep dive into Supreme Court ethics.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And I'm not sure how much to lay out here before I ask you, in the deep dive that is Supreme Court ethics.
Yes.
Which of our 2 favorite topics has more sway over the United States Supreme Court? Money or Nazis?
Okay. So last week, you said this one's clear, it's Nazis. And I said, hold on, we're going to play this. So,
yes.
In order for everybody to play at home, we're just going to lay out. We're just reporting what was reported. We'll start with that. So we don't have to play the other thing. John Oliver pointed out that one of the Supreme Court justices, who shall remain nameless, Clarence Thomas, has received hundreds and hundreds.
He should remain nameless, but his initials are Clarence Thomas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Has received hundreds and hundreds, if not more than $1 million worth of trips, gifts, purchase of his family home so his mother could stay in it from multiple people, and a refundable a loan that was forgiven on a full-size motor coach that him and his wife love to travel around the country and park in Walmart parking lots as a man of the people when he's not flying on private jets to luxury yachts. Now, what the main benefactor is it Harlan Crow?
Harlan Crow, right.
From Texas.
Yes.
That'll become obvious in a minute. Whose house he is also a noted collector of Nazi memorabilia, who has a signed copy of Mein Kampf on display. He has Nazi memorabilia all throughout the main reception area of his house, and he has Nazi statues outside in his garden.
Let's just be clear about this. He has a signed copy of Mein Kampf. Who was it signed by? Was it signed by Don Drysdale?
No, I believe the author took it. I think it's a signed copy from Adolf. I mean, I don't think it says to Harlan, love Adolf, but I believe never change, heart. Adolf.
BFF.
Yeah. like a yearbook.
Stay cool.
Science class was awesome. Stay cool. Your pal Alfie. So the question then becomes, so Harlan has spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, given gifts to his good friend, Clarence Thomas, who never reported any of this ever on any of his financial disclosures, which is how he gets back to ethics, because you're supposed to report all of this. But he said because it was from a personal friend, it had nothing to do with him being on the court, which started 5 years after he got on the court. That had nothing to do with this and hasn't influenced it. Now,
of course not, because Harlan Crow didn't have any business that ever came before the Supreme Court, did he?
Well, so that's the problem now. He's had multiple cases come before the Supreme Court.
See, that's what I thought.
See, so now you know what, you get the signed copy of Mein Kampf, the Nazi memorabilia. Basically, it's a museum for the Nazi party, and he's got statuary. He's got Nazi statues, like not small ones. Like you had to bring a crane to set these in. That's the flashy one, and so you would think, his influence. His potential influence over a longstanding member of the Supreme Court. See, you want to say Nazis. You do. You really do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how does he afford all of that? How does he afford the luxury jet? How does he afford the luxury yacht? And how does he afford to pay this much money for a Supreme Court justice? I'm just going to be honest. I think the answer to all of your questions, I think this one, the Nazis there just to throw us off the trail. I think this one, money.
Communism is just a red herring.
Okay. All right. Well, my job's,
my weekly Clue reference. I don't know that I've ever made a Clue reference here on the pod before, but there's first time for everything. Are you sure that it's not ill-begotten Nazi gold where the money is coming from?
I don't know. Let me look at the docket this year in the Supreme Court to see if there's a case about if you have ill-begotten Nazi gold, you have to hand it back over.
and I ask that as a question, much like certain cable news networks do, just to make sure. I'm not stating a fact. I'm just asking a question.
Just asking a question.
Could it be? Anyway. Oh, sweet Lord.
This may have killed that. This may have killed this. Nah, it's fine.
No, a new update from Amy. Now she has an 11:04 departure. Oh, sweet Lord.
All right. Well, you know what? We can put a couple of extra of these in the can tonight. Okay.
Excellent. Fantastic.
All right. Where are we at? Oh,
Frost Memorial Idiot of the Week?
Yes. So I saw this first in The Guardian, and then it was picked up by NBC News. In 2017, Camilla Grabska was traveling in a car with her children, and she was hit from behind. No, sorry, kids weren't in it. She was traveling in a car, hit from behind, which led to some debilitating injuries to her back and neck, and she was not able to work for more than 5 years. She couldn't even play with her children, and so she sued the insurance company for £650,000, which is about $853,000 right now. However, there is a picture of her in 2018 competing in a contest to see how far you can throw a 5-foot Christmas tree.
I saw this story. Yes.
Now, not only did she compete, she won the overall ladies division for 2018. The picture was published in a national newspaper while she argued that she was still suffering from her injuries. The justice dismissed her claim in part to the graphic nature of the image. According to the judge, it's a very large natural Christmas tree, and it's being thrown by her in a very agile movement. I'm afraid, but I cannot conclude that these claims were entirely exaggerated. On that basis, I propose to dismiss the claim. So the court earlier had been told that she had spoken to doctors the day after winning the Christmas tree throwing contest, and they're the ones that told her that she couldn't work anymore. So anyway, she now is not going to get the $853,000 because she's a champion tree thrower. I mean, she's got good form because I mean, the picture is she's got one foot on the ground and the other foot is in the air, and she's got this really nice follow through as this tree is flying off. Admittedly, I have I don't even know. I don't know what form I would use. Like, do you throw it like a football? Like, do you throw it like a baseball? Do you shot put it? Like, do you? She knows what she's doing here. Anyway,
I think it's probably more like a hammer or a discus, where you grab it and then you spin around and around and around and then launch it.
That seems like something the insurance company would not allow.
That's what I would do.
I do wonder, looking at this plaque, the Irish International Christmas Tree Throwing Championship, overall ladies winner 2018. I suspect the prize money for that contest was not 650,000 pounds. So she may have made a tactical error.
Oops.
How about you? Do you have anything this week?
No. I brought all my idiots to Money or Nazis.
Fair enough.
How's that?
Perfect.
You watch anything good?
We watched the first episode of Vigil. There was, I'm just going to be honest, there was no small amount of ribbing directed towards you with words like, what, Dewayne can't understand this? You need subtitles for this? What I will also say is, you watch some of these. Last week I talked about Only Murders in the Building, and it kind of dipped, and you're like, oh, and some of these, we talk a lot about these that you watch like the first episode and you're like, God, I'm out. And some of these, even you've said, hey, it picks up in episode 2 or 3. Look, the people that do Vigil, they give you something to grab onto in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then they hold you there. Like they know how, like, everybody, this is how you do it. Yeah.
And at the end of every episode,
yes,
they dropped them all. There's 6 episodes and there's a cliffhanger on every episode. Sorry, spoiler alert. That's not a spoiler. You knew it. They did that on the last one too.
Yeah. We also noticed we have Peacock without ads, but the cool thing is that the show goes black and then comes back. So we pay for no ads. There's no ad, but there is an ad break. All right, whatever. Also, I was going to mention John Oliver is back. We watched last week. We watched John Oliver this week. By the way, if anybody's looking at it, it's about pig butchering. And I said I don't want to watch this, but we started watching it. It has nothing to do with pigs. It has to do with being scammed. It's a scam, internet scam that is called pig butchering. Very interesting, and at some point I feel like all of us are just going to get scammed out of all of our money. And by the way, we went, I had to go back and watch it because I missed it for reasons, but watched the finish of this week's NASCAR race. Dwayne, did you happen to see the finish of it?
0.00001 seconds between the 3 cars.
Not quite, but there was a photo finish of 3 cars. The second place car was 0.0003 3 thousandths of a second. And the third place car was 7 thousandths of a second behind. Now that's exciting racing. I just
How do you get 3 cars up front? Don't do Formula 1.
How about you? What have you been watching?
So I watched a movie called Blackberry on Hulu, and it's about have you watched this yet?
No, that just came up of, hey, would you like to watch? And we were doing something else.
You would like this. It is about the rise and fall of the company known as Research in Motion, or BlackBerry, that made crackberries until they didn't.
From what I know of it, I haven't watched just from what I know of it, it's about the rise and fall and fall and fall and fall of RIM.
Yes. Uh-huh. I also started watching, and I would recommend it, particularly if you're a fan of Tech Corner. If you like Todd's Tech Corner, you'd like this. You might like it otherwise too, but and then I'm also watching all of this because Amy's been gone, so I can watch whatever I want. I can watch whatever I want anyway. A show called Resident Alien. Have you watched this?
No.
It was on Sci-Fi. It's now on Netflix.
Eventually, everything will just be on Netflix because that's all that's going to be left.
Alan Tudyk. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Don't ask me.
He was in Firefly.
Is he from Southern London?
He plays an alien that comes to Earth and can transform himself to look like a human. And all the shows that got nominated as comedies, we covered this, but weren't really comedies.
Yes. Bear, Barry.
Yes. There are parts of this show that are absolutely hilarious. And there are it's comedy drama, right? But, there's 3 seasons. The 3rd season just dropped. I'm about halfway through season 2. Pretty funny. Yep, pretty funny. And then I would tell you something that I watched that I would recommend you not watch. We've been watching Jon Stewart on Monday nights. We've been watching The Daily Show, but we've been watching Jon Stewart specifically on Monday nights. If you have not watched this last Monday night, did you watch last night?
No,
we have
not.
Do yourself a favor. Don't watch The Moment Is In. Just don't. Don't. It was heartbreaking, and I still miss my dog. Don't watch The Moment Is In. So, yep. So that's what I got. I went first last week. Do you want me to go first this week?
I'm fine. I can go.
Okay. What'd you learn?
Well, I've learned a lot, including how to drive an electric car 300 miles. We on Saturday we bought. By the way, this was going to be a number, but then Lisa, we had multiple games. By the way, just so you know, we were working on content. We had multiple ideas for content. But Lisa posted the picture that so this podcast is now a 1-truck podcast. You're the only one with a truck. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So the truck is gone, and we replaced
hope you don't need to move something. Okay.
So, well, if I do, I know somebody with a truck who can just pop over.
It's like college all over again.
Hey, I got 4 milk crates worth of books I need to move. Can you pop on over?
Sorry. Totally derailed that. I'm sorry. Yeah, so you bought a new car.
So we bought a new car. So the truck went away. We bought a Hyundai Kona EV. It is bright yellow. It is a cheerful car. And it is an electric. It's a full electric car. So the downside was that there was at this trim level. Forget the color. There was in the entire 2 states. One of them being Utah, because that's in Salt Lake City, and then the other state close to us in Nevada. At the limited trim level that had like the power tailgate and everything, there was one of these vehicles in the entire 2-state area. So we actually got it moved from the northern part of Utah to Salt Lake City, and then we had to drive 300 miles to Salt Lake City to test drive it to decide if we wanted to buy it. We did tell them ahead of time we may not buy it. We did buy it. And then I had to drive an electric car with a supposed 261 mile range, 300 miles. Well, that's not a problem. You just stop and charge along the way. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago we made this drive. There's also multiple mountain passes you have to go through. And it turns out electric cars don't love mountain passes at freeway speeds. So very quickly, the range, you know that when they show like a clock spinning to like show the passage of time, well, you can think about that was our range, but going in the opposite direction, just counting down. So we had to stop, and this one, because it's not one of the top end EVs, it doesn't have the super high charging rate. So we had to pull over and charge for about 40 minutes. And then we drove less than 100 miles and had to charge again for another 40 minutes to be able to make it home. It was actually touch and go whether we would have to stop again after 50 miles. But luckily, we just slowed down on the interstate. So we were doing 65 in an 80 zone the entire way, which is fine because it's bright yellow, so everybody can see us. Anyway.
I mean, surely you got some regenerative braking action coming down the mountain pass, right?
Yes, we did. And eventually that really helped us. But you don't get as much regenerative braking as you get power to go up, because if you did, that would be a perpetual motion mission. so
we may need to have Ward back on the pod to explain all of this to us.
Yeah.
Does the car have a mega power frunk?
It has a frunk. It is not mega. It's only 27 liters, and it is not power. You have to manually lift the lid and then open up the itty bitty little frunk. It's basically a plastic box inside under the hood that you can put some sandwiches. Yes. And then we made it home, and then the other thing, I was debating about whether or not we needed a level 2 charger, which would be faster, or a level 1, which came with the car. You just plug level 1 into 110 and you can charge it. And they said, it could take a day or two to charge it, which is fine because this is going to be for around here. We're not going to be taking it 300 miles. We don't use the cars that much, which is one of the reasons why we got rid of the truck for an electric car. I plugged it in, and the battery was 33% full. And I plugged it in, and it said it would be full in 98 hours. So the electricians are coming to put in a level 2 charger in 2 days. Yep. Well, they answered that question. Thank you very much. Yeah. Where do I plug this in? Not in that outlet.
No.
Yeah. I will say, though, even though it was trickle charging today, part of this now, because because we have the solar system and the batteries, the solar panels, not the solar system.
Yeah, I have a solar system. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today when we plugged it in, the car was being charged from the excess solar that we were not using for the house that would have gone out onto the grid. So we're now at the point where the solar on top of the house is now charging the car. And this is sort of the whole point of all of this is the level 2 charger. The level 2 charger will actually use the excess as well. So the plan is, as long as it doesn't have to go too far out of town, we should never it's all going to be from the solar system, from our solar panels. So anyway, I learned a lot, and I learned where not to drive the car, which is in the exact place now. Funny thing, about 4 years ago, the reason why we had the truck is because we bought the RV. I bought the RV also in Salt Lake City. So the first time I ever towed an RV, I had to pick it up and drive the exact same 300 miles over multiple mountain passes. The first time I ever drove anything towed behind the truck. It would be good if the undisclosed location had a little bit more inventory on stuff, so I didn't have to keep doing all of this. This is not the ideal way to get your feet wet on some of this stuff. Anyway, maybe that's what I learned.
We should see about disclosing the undisclosed location, at least to the supply chain.
Yeah.
Maybe there's your problem.
Need more here.
So this week I learned from our son Lucas, that 3 weeks ago, they had at Bradley what they called a game jam, where you've got 48 hours to build a game from scratch, right? They tell you, here's the topic. You can put your team together beforehand, and then they say, okay, here's the topic. You have 48 hours, go, right? And so they spent 48 hours building a game for Kaboom's inaugural game jam at Bradley. And I learned this morning, 2 mornings ago, that Lucas's team took first place in the Kaboom Game Jam with their game called Wakey Wakey. It's kind of an 8-bit character thing. You have to play it on the computer, but you take this little guy and you move him around on the screen and try to put him to bed. And so you solve puzzle after puzzle after puzzle. There's like 29 levels of this, but blocks are moving at you, or you have to jump, or things go backwards or upside down, and you can only move certain directions. It's fun. It's a little addictive, I gotta say.
As all good games should be.
Right, exactly. He's planning on putting it out on Twitch soon, but right now it's available to play on their server, and I'll post a link to it, and y'all can knock yourself out. It took me like 3 days to get all the way through all of the levels, because that's how much of a gamer I am. I had work in between, but it is fun, and we are really, really proud of him. It is a fun little thing, and him and Z and 4 of his other buddies. So we're excited for that. That was great.
I mean, that's awesome. Wait, what was that? What was that called again? The Kaboom. What? Say that one more time.
I believe it's the Kaboom Game Jam.
Yeah. You know what? Must be officially old now, because it's like, what does that even mean? Congratulations on winning the thing. Oh, don't worry. You can see it on you can see it on Twitch. No, I can't.
No, I don't do that
I can't.
either. No. So
Actually,
I can't believe I'm explaining this. Bradley's original mascot was the Braves. They were the Bradley Braves, right?
Yes. That's what they were when I had visited that campus. Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. They needed something else, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They are still, I suppose, technically the Bradley Braves, but they don't say it anywhere. And they don't have the Brave mascot anymore. Instead, their mascot is one of the gargoyles that is on Bradley Hall.
Okay.
And the name of the mascot, gargoyle, is Kaboom.
From the Old English Kaboom.
Yes, of course. Yes. Doesn't that make perfect sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the Kaboom came from, is Kaboom's Game Jam, because it was hosted at Bradley and Kaboom is the mascot. So
I assume if the gargoyle on top of the hall is named Kaboom, that's the one that's facing the chemistry building.
We are all now stupider because of that. The music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to our award-winning podcast with visiting punster Todd Prince. Wherever you get your pods, just search Talking and the number 2. There's no G and no space. You can check out Danny's award-winning merch on Zazzle. You can stop by and see us at the Tuba City home office. Please don't do that. Thanks to our listeners and our sponsors. Our sponsors are Toddler 3187, DJ to Go Cedar Valley, and the Taylor Center for Technology Policy, even though we didn't do their segment this week. And last but not least, you can send your feedback to feedback@talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
I see a great cross-promotional thing here between Talking to Todd and Lucas and his team's game. I think that they ought to be, you said there's about 29 levels. Without even seeing the game, I would like to suggest a few other exclusive Talking to Todd levels from this episode that they should put into it. Okay. So number 1, run around through Amsterdam streets, knocking as many bikes into the canal as possible, right? You get points there, right? Number 2, you need to run back and forth between Oakland and Las Vegas as many times as you possibly can over the course of 4 years. Okay. That's one of those. I also think I'd also like to see one where you have to push your electric car up a mountain. I think that would be really interesting. I was going to say, yes.
I've got one.
Yeah.
How about one where you walk on the treadmill backwards in O'Hare? just trying to make progress. There are treadmills in the game where you actually have to walk backwards. I think it's like level 27. He's reading our minds.
There you go. And the future. And then I have 2 other levels.
Yes.
The final boss level, you have to fight. You can only fight one at a time, but you have to fight either a pile of money or Nazis to win the game. But then the post one is, and this one's going to seem weird, but it's going to be much more challenging than you think. You're going to sit on a bench while everybody's running back and forth, and you just have to sit there. And if you get up to get into the game, you lose. So who can sit on the bench the longest? There you go. There's at least there's a number of other levels I think that could code for us. And of course, and somewhere in there also, obviously, how far can you throw a Christmas tree?
I'm sure we'll have some feedback on that next week. We'll be back. We're here. We're talking to Todd.
True story. Could have been part of the Todd's Tech Corner. The new car can use a digital key on your phone or on your watch to unlock or lock it and start it. So I took the car to go to the place where I do the long run on Sunday, and I got into the car. I started it with my phone. I didn't have a key fob or anything. Drove over, got ready. Okay, tap the phone. No, that didn't. How do I lock it? Just punch the lock. Trying to find YouTube videos, can't find it. Text Lisa, I can't lock the car. She then has to watch a YouTube video and then tell me how to do it. So we're now at the point where it takes multiple people, multiple searches to figure out how to lock it's got all the new technology. Yeah, there's one place the technology hasn't been updated. Where's that? The driver.
This thing gets amazing reviews. It is no wonder there was only one in a 2-state area, because it is incredibly hot, very popular. It gets fantastic reviews. I want to see if Jeremy can pull the hood off and drive it across the country.
Jeremy's not getting anywhere near my car.